Today I'm doing art with tiny hands. Um, it has been very interesting. I'm about to attempt a monoprint. This is my jelly plate. It's one of my favorite tools um, for making cool stuff. Uh, I have some texture items here ready to go. I have some paint, my brayer, the thing I'm going to put the waste paint on over here, and then have some paper ready to go. So let's begin. Let me get the brayer out of the way. So when you're making monoprints, it's really important to use a moderate amount of paint. So you just open up your paint and you pick it up. Okay, and you pick it up. And this is a heavy one. I should have got an emptier one. Okay. And then you pick it up. And it's really hard to be an artist. You have to have a lot of hand strength. Okay, you pick it up and you get some paint on the jelly plate. There we go. You get some paint on the plate. Get the paint out of the way. All right, go over there. Then you get your brayer and you roll out the paint. And you want to make sure you roll it out as evenly as possible across the plate. So we're just going to do that. And one of the things about acrylic paint is that it dries relatively quickly. Oh, okay. So we're just going to roll this out. Just going to roll this out. Okay, rolling it. Okay, so once you get it rolled out, you can take the brayer to your waste paper and just, clean it off so a bunch of paint doesn't dry on it. And then the fun begins because you get to take your texture materials and kind of put textures. So that was bubble wrap. Bubble wrap's cool. And then this is, it was the inside of a notebook, and it was kind of cool because it had ridges. Okay, so then you get your paper and you put it on your jelly plate. And you rub it. If you're worried that you just also use the back of your hand if you want to. That works sometimes. Just make sure that you pick up, that you're rubbing it. Okay, and then the magic. Everyone ready? Oh. Okay, so we have made our first print. So then we're going to add another color and just keep the fun going. So I have this other color. That first one was like teal. What is it actually called? Bright aqua green, not teal at all. And here we have quinacridone magenta. So we're going to open our paint. And this tube's a little bit lighter, so my tiny hands, it's a struggle having tiny hands. I've lived with it for about an hour, and I think I'll be okay. So I'm going to just get the paint in my hands, and I'm going to get the paint in my hands. And we're gonna put it on the jelly plate. Sometimes that can happen. You can, get the paint ready, and then it just decides it wants to fly over to the side. Okay, so we're just gonna get the paint on the plate. Oh, this tube is very empty. Okay, I might need to get my other one. There isn't any paint to come out. So that happens too sometimes. So we'll just get another one. Okay, this is also magenta. but it's a bit fuller. It's also a bit bigger, so we're back to the tiny hand struggle of getting the paint on the plate. Okay, okay. Is this fun to watch? I don't know. I'm starting to not have fun. Okay. Okay, come on, little. This is probably why there aren't any tiny hands art challenges, because it's really challenging. Is any paint coming out? No, not yet. Any paint? Okay, so sometimes if you can just angle it down and push, that is a lot of paint. You can get paint to come out. Okay, get that out of the way. Okay. All right, so then we get our brayer. Once again, we spread the paint on the plate. And you know, with monoprinting, it really works best when you do not have too much paint on the jelly plate. So this one's got a little extra paint. So we actually, sometimes if you have this much paint, you might be able to get a lot of different prints. But the challenge then is that the marks that you put in may not come through as much. So I'm just going to take a little bit of that off. Put it over here on my waste paper. Okay, that's probably good for now. So then I have this other texture. It is this cool kind of leopard print. Okay, and then we'll get the bubble wrap again. And, oh, there it is. So we've made a bunch of marks on the plate. So I am going to use the paper that we just used a minute ago with the blue, because sometimes it's cool to put a bunch of different, you know, do layers. Then just like before, we're going to just rub this down. Make sure it's, and so the paper I'm using, in case you're curious, is B paper rough sketch. I think it holds up really nicely with a lot of mixed media work. Okay, so we're just going to pull this off the plate and see what we've got. And so now we have a really cool starting background. You can kind of see the teal from the first pull and the texture that we put in with the magenta. And since I used some pretty old bubble wrap, there's this little piece, I don't know if you can see that, little piece of bubble wrap, old paint that's stuck to this print. I'm just going to okay, I'm just going to take it off. That's something you could do. Sometimes it will also like adhere, which makes some kind of cool texture. So we'll come back to that background. And then there's some paint left here. I'm going to leave this to dry because the next time I do a print, it will come up with the other stuff and it'll leave some cool magenta marks as well. So that was mono printing with tiny hands, and I hope you enjoyed yourself.